A couple weeks back, dentist Steve Marsh let us in on the little changes that can make a positive difference in our smiles. But what about when your mouth needs a major makeover? Guess what? Steve has a solution for that too. So he's back today to bring us the bigger story.
Hi, Lori.
So welcome back.
Thanks.
So what do you suggest, what is going big when we're talking about major mouth changes?
Well, it's funny because a lot of patients will come into the dentist sometimes just because they have an emergency, so they take care of the emergency and let things slide. So that may be one thing. Sometimes people have an event coming up, a wedding or class reunion, so they want something major, they really want, and they understand the smile is a big part of their looks.
Sure.
It isn't just their suit and their hair and makeup. So depending on what they need, sometimes we do a few teeth and need a lot of work, and sometimes a lot of teeth need a little work, and sometimes if people have really let it go, they'll do a major makeover. And it doesn't seem to matter ages. I just took care of a man who's in his 80s, a farmer who came into me and said, I've hated my teeth and I want to invest in myself. So it
right.
varies with the person.
So it's major work could be a lot of teeth, it could be just a lot of attention, but it's a much more of an undertaking.
Yeah, it can be, and we try to make it as easy as we can. And an important thing is, Lori, when I meet with the patients, as I've mentioned before, we sit around a table, and I need to know what's important to them. And do they need it quickly for a reunion? Do they need it some time? Do they want to stage it for time or financial reasons? So whatever works for the patient, it's important that the dentist gets a sense of what the patient needs and wants, just like you would do in your law practice.
Sure.
And the best thing we can do is illustrate them with some lots of befores
right,
and
so
afters.
show us some examples of what's the before and afters of some restored smiles.
Well, this is actually a gentleman very public in Cleveland, and he had lost a tooth. The tooth that he lost, Lori, had had a root canal about 50 years ago. He fell off a bicycle. The root canal and the tooth crown on top held for many years, and then it became brittle and fractured. He said, what can we do? And again, we didn't want him to ever have to go without that, so I should tell your viewers that in between we made a temporary bridge, not something that went in and out because he's with the public so much. We went for a permanent type partial, if you will, and now he has crowns across the front and gave him a beautiful smile. I'm encouraging him at some point to do the lowers, but that gave him a beautiful smile. Not so major, but 4 teeth.
Well, this looks much more major.
Much more major, and this took 6 to 8 months. I should tell your viewers that. So here's a man in his late 70s. He had some old crowns. That's what they used to look like. He said he wanted permanent teeth. He didn't want teeth that came in and out like his mother and father, so we did implants. And Lori, those are individual implants in the back. You see white. Those are actually zirconium posts that go on the implant. They get screwed in. You can see we maintained his front teeth and prepared those for crowns. This is very different than when you hear, get your teeth in a day. That's a denture that gets screwed into 4 implants. So this is very different. So now we've down.
My goodness.
Same 78-year-old or so man. Those had crowns on top of those implants, and he can floss between them, and they're like his own teeth. And he said, oh my God, I've waited so long for this. So that was real gratifying for him and us.
Right.
This is an interesting story. He's actually a cousin of mine, and he came in, and what brought him in is his granddaughter said, Grandpa, what's wrong with your teeth?
Whoops.
And what happened with him is that over the years his teeth had moved back and forth. That happens as we age, just like a number of other things. And you can see we've restored that with some porcelain bridge work and crowns to give him that beautiful smile. And lastly, Lori, and this is a patient I hope to get on the show.
Okay.
That's her before, that's her after. Now that after is actually with temporary bridge work. Her daughter brought in and said, Mom, you've taken care of all of us. It's time for us to get some major work done for you. In her 80s, she loves that temporary result. And I said, if you love that, you'll love the permanent as well.
Oh, amazing makeovers. Major, but amazing.
Thanks.
Sometimes major dental work is the only solution for restoring your smile, but that doesn't mean you'll need to bite off more than you can chew. To find a palatable solution, give Steve a call. His number is coming up next.
See what Dr. Stephen Marsh can do for your smile by calling 440-461-1003 or visit www.clevelandsmiles.com. Next, a new home for a newly named hospice.